Greetings! Welcome to the devlog for update 58 of hot dogs, horseshoes, and hand grenades. We're going to start off, as always, with a quick sound check. Make sure your speakers aren't up too high. Wonderful. So what have we got for you this week? Well, we've got a pretty stuffed update this week, and one of the reasons is after this one there isn't going to be an update for a couple weeks. Anton is going on a much needed vacation, but before I left I thought I would leave you folks with a whole bunch of new toys to keep you busy and a couple new little experiments. So let's start small and work our way up. Our first addition is a fun little plinker here. It is the P22. Some of you might not even know this one exists. Honestly, probably one of the coolest looking 22 LR pistols there is. Next to no recoil, obviously. Just pop that out, fire it as fast as you can. Let's do a slightly more careful group on that. Decent, not quite as careful as I'd like. That sucker is in there. Nice little practice plinker. Let's toss you over there. Next up, long requested, we finally have a 5.7. Just look at that beauty. This is one of the this is basically the one from the sort of generation that first was for sale to American civilians, I think starting in like 2004, 2005. Sweet little number. Got a safety there. Pop this out. For those of you who don't know, the thing that makes this special is its cartridge. It fires 5.7 by 28 millimeter, which means it's going to have a way flatter trajectory, especially out past about like 50 to 75 meters, than a 9 millimeter or a 45 will. So if you're shooting long range with a handgun, it's going to be easier with this than pretty much anything. All with very reasonable recoil. 20 shots in the mag. Beautiful stuff. Beautiful. Looks like I accidentally triggered this. Let's go back to inside narrow. There we go. Pop that back out. I'm gonna load this here and just leave it on the table for a moment, and you'll see why. And then next up, also long requested, I know we've had a Deagle 44 in here forever, but everyone's been like, well, where's the 50? I need that 50 Action Express, even though all the powder doesn't even get burned in the barrel. Well, here you have it, a gorgeous ported front Deagle 50. Rail on the top, rail on the bottom, 7 shots of way more power than is reasonable. Boom. Definitely recommend firing this one two-handed. So this brings us to new feature. I have just loaded a magazine into this. Its slide still racked back. Just loaded a magazine into this one. Its slide is still racked back. This, for all of you Akimbo Warriors, has been long requested, and I finally figured out how to do it. We can take our handguns, press them against each other, and go BAM! To knock those slides back. Not as cool when one runs out so far before the other. But yeah, boom. You can rack them against each other. You can rack a slide against an environment object, a magazine. Let's do this. Come on. There we go. You got to really catch the colliders against each other to do it. So that should help those of you who enjoy playing the two-pistol gunfighter to have a bit more fun. Let's toss these over here. Do a clean. We're fine. Moving along to our next things, we have one that I sort of fell in love with the look of. This goofy piece really only exists the way it does because of American gun laws and the way that things get legally classified as a pistol versus a short-barreled rifle. But every now and again, it gives us this something so unique and odd and beautiful looking. This is the SCR AR-15 pistol. charging handle on the back. It sort of feels dimensionally almost like a modern flintlock, which is why I sort of fell in love with it. That straight line look. Beautiful. Obviously, because it's a different lower receiver, things like the mag ejection button aren't in range of our primary hand, so you have to pull the mag out like that. No bolt release on it because it's not installed. At least on this version. And there you have it. Obviously, you can still grab it by the foregrip to stabilize it, and because I thought it would be funny, just like the handguns, it actually has a stock position on it, so if you still want to affix a stock on it after the fact, you can totally do so. Which just feels ridiculous. But for those of you who love making hideous Franken guns, it has that functionality in there. Moving right along. Let's pull that out of there. We have another requested, and I admit I kind of ripped on this gun a little bit after going to Battlefield Vegas, but firing it virtually, more specifically firing it on full auto with its ridiculous cyclic rate, this sucker has really grown on me. That's right, it's the Evo III, looking beautiful. This one is the sort of military version, so it's got semi, burst. Look at that fire rate, 1,100 rounds per minute, and full auto. It's got the HK style charging handle, so we pull that mag out, we drop one, we slam another one home, and then we slap it. Awesome. Awesome. Just look at that. Beautiful, compact, modern. Really, there isn't anything else in the SMG category that really sort of compares for sort of modern features, looks, rails, etc. So it is a welcome addition into our SMG category. Beautiful stuff. I also want to take this opportunity with this gun in particular to demonstrate an experimental modification I've made to the virtual stock, which you see me using. If you're like, what's the virtual stock? How did I miss this? Remember that under input options, we have this option right at the bottom, use virtual stock, incompatible with gun rig mode. And what virtual stock is doing is it's what's sort of pulling this up right to my shoulder and keeping it at a consistent distance. But obviously that requires both hands. No longer. I've done experiment. It's not perfect, and you're not going to be a marksman with this. This is more of almost like an emergency feature. The virtual stock now functions if you bring the controller close to your head, even with one hand. So see how we're getting that fixed distance stabilization here? Once again, it's a little harder to position an angle exactly how you want because I'm trying to work some vector math magic with just one hand as an input, but it's actually pretty stable. You're not going to get the same level of recoil mitigation, obviously, because you're not holding the fore, but you can even have your second hand near the main hand for some stabilization. Here it is with no hand. Picks up a lot. But for single stabilized shots, it's now an option. Oh, and we are dry. Beautiful. So that is that's the Evo III as well as the virtual stock modification. And we're just throwing everything off to the side there. Moving right along, let's skip over these for a moment. We've got another frequent request. I'm going to actually grab two of these and bring them over. The first one is the ACR, namely the civilian version of it. I've been wanting to add more civvy guns in just for balance and for having sort of powerful weapons that only have semi-automatic options and for later game modes. So here we go. ACR in black. This is the I think the sort of like sport version of it. Our fire selector only goes up to semi. Compatible with all the different Stanag mags. And there you have it. Yet another 5.56 rifle, a little bit of fun variation. And as I said, I wanted to make sure that there was a semi-auto only weapon in pretty much every category, just for variety's sake. To go along with that theme, we've got a neat rifle that until I had seen this in an artist portfolio, I had never even heard of this one, but it's pretty sweet. It's the P762, and what this is it's a sort of like clandestine, compact marksman rifle. Apparently the real one actually breaks down into several pieces, so it can like fit in a suitcase, but this is a 7.62 by 51. We've got a charging handle on the side, like so, 20 rounds, semi-auto only. I've got a bipod affixed to it, but it sort of gives us a really compact sort of carbine length package with a whole lot of stopping power. Boom! As well as a bipod for stabilized shooting. Awesome. Boom. And we're empty. So there you have it. That is the P762. It's located under the battle rifles category, and just dimensionally in the way that looks, it is a new favorite. Toss that over there. Moving right along, let's actually clean up our scene. We have a bit of a model redo. I want to thank the original artist so much, he's listed below, who did the original models for the M14 that I've been using. They're really useful. They've been in the game for over a year, but they weren't quite the correct dimension set, which made doing cross-compatible magazines a little difficult when I started to add other firearms in the family. And so our M14 has been replaced with a model by Ben, who's done a whole bunch for the game, and it is just gorgeous. It's dimensionally perfect. It's actually the correct thickness. I know a lot of you pointed out with the M14 immediately, like, this is a little too thin. This is not how this should be. So that is now correct. Beautiful, full-length, classic wood. Rock that onto semi. Boom! Punchy. I love M14 so much. Pop that onto full, barely controllable. Oh, gorgeous. A gorgeous firearm, a gorgeous rendition of it. Such a beauty. And to go with it, which was requested by me, I hazard to say this, but for me, the most beautiful proportionally firearm in the M14 extended family. And this is the M1 Shortie 16. It's as short as you can get before it's a short-barreled rifle. We've got a built-in sort of top rail here that doesn't block our stripper clip entry. Tan finish, and I love the proportions of this sucker. Got a 10-round mag by default, but of course it is cross-compatible with the 20 and the 30 that go in the M14. Gorgeous stuff, just gorgeous. A personal favorite and a welcome addition to our firearm family. And then the last new toy that is going in, some of you may consider this a little bit sacrilege, but I fell in love with the looks of it. We have ourselves a modern tactical AKM. Polymer mag for stock, sort of more pronounced bolt handle here, Picatinny top. Awesome stuff. Let's do a tactical reload. Bam! Out it goes. Great stuff, great stuff. Oh, I love this rifle so much. Every form of it, every variation. Love the weight. Proportion, and that peppy cartridge. So that is all of our new toys. Let's pop out of VR now and take a look at the other little changes and bug fixes that were made this week.
Yo! So we're back out of VR. Let's go over quickly first the changes and bug fixes list. In addition to the changes that I showed you to the virtual stock, I also tweaked pistol recoil in situations where you have affixed a stock and the pistol is now a carbine. It didn't work before. In many cases, it sort of made the recoil worse in certain circumstances, so that should now be fixed. Let me know if there are any odd pistol outs that you find where you're like, the recoil still seems messed up on this. Power-ups now have labels on them. Sorry it took me so long to do that. I have raised the slot position on the backpack to be a little higher up, so it should now be easier to access. The QC9 now has a magazine grab trigger. The Flipso lighter can now be utilized entirely without pressing any buttons, because I know it's always been a little bit of a pain for those of you on the Rift using a joystick to flick it. So you can now flick it open with your wrist, and you can just run the palm of your hand down by the, basically roughly in the area of the lighter, downward pretty fast, and it should light it. If it's not lighting for you, just do it as a sharper gesture. Other fixes, I fixed that MP40 magazine interpolation bug. That was funny. Fixed the quick belt poses for a number of objects. The backpack should now return to the correct orientation when it's harnessed, I hope. The PP91 selector is fixed. The Mark 211 50 BMG ammo now has a proper explosive damage system and sound effect, so that should work far more like it should be. Don't shoot it near yourself. Objects in the backpack should no longer be able to be accidentally grabbed. Let's see here. Yeah, and just in terms of removals, the old M14 model went. The DMR has been removed as well because it was made by the same artist, and is as much as I enjoyed. I played with the DMR a lot. Its dimensions were not correct in terms of the new magazines I have for the corrected dimension version. So I hope to have an M14 DMR or a close equivalent back in at some point. So yeah, so that has it for this update. I know I said I was going to try to get the new take and hold level ready to play, but I realized that launching basically the most complex level that I've made for this game, even as a beta, when I was going to be leaving for several weeks in like a couple days, was a terrible idea. I should be around to monitor, take bug fixes, and things like that, and tweak, iterate, push hot fixes, etc. So that is going to come in mid-August instead, once I'm back and can be here with my full attention and full energy to be iterating on it live as you folks are playing it. So I hope you don't mind the delay, and I hoped that this fun selection of new toys was a fine consolation. So with that, I will leave you to play. Update goes live as usual at 7 p.m. PST. As mentioned before, I'm going to be gone for 2 weeks. So the next, let me pull open my calendar here. The next update is going to be on Friday, August 10th. So I'll be doing probably another fun stream this coming Sunday, and then I am gone for a little bit. Much needed recuperation, seeing the family, that sort of thing. So I hope you all manage to not like burn your houses down while I'm gone. I would prefer to be here so that I can watch. So yeah, have yourselves a wonderful weekend, a wonderful end of July and beginning of August, and I will see you all soon. Peace.